everyone, life update. Yeah, no, go ahead. Take the time to observe how I live my life. I understand. A dirty room means that there's a dirty mind, and I watch so much goddamn porn that there's nothing I can do about it. I just wanted to let you know how it's going. I understand that this is a very see-through shirt, so I'm gonna put on something else. Okay. Yeah, no, that's better. So I had my first day of classes for the spring semester. Let's just say I'm really happy with one of them, and then the other one. It is ridiculous to me that one of the job qualifications a professor doesn't need to have is the ability to teach. In the beginning of 2021, I started hearing clicking in my jaw. I Googled that, and they were like, okay, well, this normally means that your jaw is gonna lock. And I was like, you're overreacting. Went to an oral surgeon. He was like, yeah, that's, I can't even hear it clicking, so you're fine. But just so you know, like, the worst that can happen is that your jaw will lock, and that you're gonna have like either surgery or injections put into your face. I'm like, that's probably not gonna happen. Cut to like 4 months ago, this side of my jaw locked, and I was like, that's fine, so long as I just like push it over to the side and then open it up, we're good. Then this side of the jaw locks, and now I'm only able to put like a finger to 2 fingers in my mouth. Not that I would be needing to put fingers in my mouth. What? It's not the point. I'm at a point now where I can put 3 fingers into my mouth, but at the time I could really only put in 1. If we're talking about measuring achievements and progress during this year, the fact that going from 1 finger to 3 fingers is an accomplishment in my life is just, you know what? It's normal for everyone to have a low point. It is normal for that to happen. I just don't know why it has to happen this way. Why does it have to be so bizarre? That's the most depressing part, Like, if you're sad because it's it's the winter time, or, school's starting and you're getting stressed, like, that's totally fine to feel depressed, but I shouldn't have to feel depressed because I can't stick my fucking hand in my mouth. The point is that my jaw has been locked for the past couple of months, and only recently, like last week, did I actually go to an oral surgeon to fix this problem. So then I'm talking to this oral surgeon, and she's like, what medications do you take? I'm like, God damn it. Because this question used to be really simple. It was like, I don't really take medications. I take Motrin as needed. And they're like, cool. Nice to see that there's another great candidate in the genetic pool. Great to see that natural selection has been doing its job. Now I'm like, okay, well, first of all, I'm taking lithium, all right? And we're talking 900 milligrams. That's 3 separate tablets, okay? 300 milligrams of Lamictal. I used to take Zyprexa. I used to take Zoloft. And I'm still on 300 milligrams of Wellbutrin, which is 150 milligrams less than, like, the cap for taking Wellbutrin. And oddly enough, you wouldn't have guessed, I'm potentially going up to the max amount of Wellbutrin that you can go on to. Again, everyone has a low point. I just happen to need the equivalent of taking meth every morning to get by. And the funniest thing is that, like, if you're an oral surgeon, you're a doctor, you're not a dentist, not a real doctor. You've done, like, your rotation, and you know a little bit about psychiatry. I mean, you're prescribing medication as needed. And so when the doctor turns around to, like, type into the file how many meds I'm taking, she's like, and what are you taking these medications for? Really, bitch? She's like, do you take cocaine? I'm like, whoa, why is that the first question? Do I look like I take cocaine? No. And then she's like, okay, cool. Do you drink or smoke marijuana? Why is that the second one? Why is that you have to work your way up to cocaine. And then she goes, have you ever been hospitalized? And I'm like, bitch, look at me. We just went over it. Look at my list of medications. Have I been hospitalized? I don't need to answer that. You know the answer. Yes, I've been hospitalized. What for? One time, by accident, I didn't sleep for a week. It's actually really funny because, for whatever reason, doctors always really love to ask you where you're going to school before they ask you any other question. Like, she won't know my name or my age, but she'll be like, oh, so what university are you attending? Any doctor that's working near your mouth, they get really antsy about universities and getting into school and being in school. Like, the first person that wasn't, like, a family member that I told about getting into the school I got into was my orthodontist. And my orthodontist and I have a very strange history, because when I was 14 years old, I went in there and he's like, so what are you doing in school? I'm like, oh, I don't know, I'm a freshman. He's like, oh, what college do you go to? I'm like, no, but I'm a freshman in high school. And he was like, oh, sorry. What the fuck was that? What? You can see my mouth. Can you not look at my teeth and realize that I'm a child? Are you that bad at your job? Are you that horny? My goodness. I'm just kidding. I'm almost not kidding. And okay, so the last time I saw him, he's like, well, where are you going to university? I'm like, oh, I'm going to Columbia. And he's like, where's that? Rolled his motherfucking eyes and then told me that I don't need to get a mouth guard because I'm not grinding my teeth. Here we are now, and I have to go to, like, after 2 oral surgeons, I'm finally getting the shit that I needed. Thanks a lot, Dr. And so it's funny when I started out by saying, like, right now I'm going to Columbia. She's like, oh, wow, that's very impressive. Good for you. 5 minutes later, I have to explain to this woman how I was yelling and screaming in a psychiatric hospital because I thought that I had discovered how to fix sexism. It's a steep trend downwards, and this woman just has to, like, take a step back and be like, you know what? I don't know how the fuck you got here. Good for you. Fine. Guys, upward trend, upward mobility, okay? It is 2022. This is my year to succeed. I'm still painting. I'm still dancing. I'm still functioning the way that I used to. I just feel like shit. That's what we call becoming an adult, okay? Next is health insurance, okay? This is the way you grow up, right? You have a magical childhood. You have a lot of traumatic things happen in your childhood that you don't realize is trauma until you're a little bit older, and then you're like, oh my God, I had a terrible childhood. And then you feel like shit, you feel like dog shit. And then you realize you could die at any moment. And when you're having that horrible existential crisis, that's when you call up United Health and you're like, give me the cheapest plan you got. You know, it's weird. When we lie all the factors down on the table, there's no reason I can't be successful. But then when we really think about who I am as a person, it's shocking that I'm still alive.